out of the corner of his eye. He looks up, but sees nothing.
Who's there?
Dirt starts pouring into the grave from all directions. His eyes grow wide, and his face loses all color as he tries to pull himself up with no success.
Oh, God. Somebody help me.
Dirt engulfs the boy, and he can no longer move. He tries to speak, but the soil pours into his mouth, leaving him unable to breathe. The earth continues to cover the boy until he is no longer visible. Grass and small plants begin to grow over the fresh grave at a rapid pace, hiding all signs of what had just taken place. The dream catcher floats in the river below and it slowly begins to sink. Present day. It's a beautiful spring day with not a rain cloud in sight. A raft containing 3 college students goes speeding down the river.
I can't even see him anymore. Awesome.
I don't understand what the rush is.
Yeah, not everything is a competition, Marcus, okay? And I'm done rowing. No, I don't like to sweat.
Marcus stops rowing, and the raft comes to a halt at a beautiful cove.
That's okay. I'm pretty sure this is the place my friend told me about.
Marcus pulls out a case of beer, he cracks one open, and he starts chugging. And he tosses one each to Haley and Kelsey. Another raft, carrying 2 people, slowly floats down into the same cove.
Well, it's about time.
Hard to row 2 people.
Well, maybe if somebody's boyfriend wasn't scared of the water.
Okay, he won't even go to the swimming pool with me. Do you really think he's going to go rafting down the river?
James jumps out of the raft.
Cold. Cold.
What is this place?
It's a river, silly. I'm kidding. Give me some credit. I'm not that stupid.
One of the guys on the football team told me about this place. Said it's a good place to go kick it without people floating by.
You sure that you're any minute?
I know.
Marcus dunks Haley under the water.
Oh, you dick! I was trying not to get my hair wet.
All of a sudden, there's a loud splash right by Marcus. He looks down to see a full bottle of liquor floating to the surface of the water. Marcus looks up, and he sees Connor.
Well, it's about fucking time.
Julie also notices Connor, who is standing by the waterfall looking down at his friends below.
Will you please get down here?
Yes, ma'am.
Connor starts carefully climbing down the side of the waterfall, avoiding coming into contact with the water.
This place is beautiful.
Well, enjoy it while you can. We have that biology lecture in the morning.
Gross. Forgot about that.
I'm so glad I chose my major based around what they offer in the afternoon.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Hey there.
Check out this fucking guy.
Hey there, can we help you?
Well, I'm camping out here for a few days, about a mile over that way. Yeah, I was walking through and hiking by and thought I heard some commotion. Thought I'd come by and check it out.
Beer?
No thanks. I got my own. Moonshine. Here, take a swig. Yeah, boy. That's what a man tastes like.
Oh, I assure you, James knows what a man tastes like.
Haley turns to the gang, and she has a dead garden snake hanging from a stick.
Ew! Ew! Look what I found over here in the bushes! Ah!
Phil swiftly pulls out a hunting knife and points it towards the serpent.
You keep that goddamn thing away from me.
Okay.
Haley flings the dead snake into some bushes.
Wait, you're camping, but you're afraid of snakes?
Well, sometimes you just gotta face your fears head on, kid.
Hey, guys!
Marcus is on top of the cliff, hanging over the waterfall.
Throw me a beer!
With that, Connor chucks a beer into the air. Marcus jumps off the waterfall and catches it, and he dives underwater. Marcus swims to the bottom of the river, and he sees the dreamcatcher stuck under a large rock. He swims over to it. Marcus's attention is focused on the mysterious object. He lets go of the beer, and he tries to free it. The can floats to the surface. The group of friends stare at the water, waiting for Marcus to resurface. Haley gets concerned when she sees the can of beer float to the top.
Marcus?
I'm sure he's fine. You know he just loves to mess with you.
James picks up a rock and tries to skip it across the water. The rock skips just once before sinking. The rock sinks to the bottom of the river and it lands next to Marcus. Marcus is still struggling to move the rock. He's finally able to lift it just enough to free the dreamcatcher. He grabs the mysterious object and he swims up to the surface.
Look what I found!
He climbs out of the river and tosses the dreamcatcher to James. James rubs it on Haley.
Oh, Haley, watch out. He's going to rub it on your hair.
No! Stop it, James!
What is it?
It looks like a dream catcher. Yeah, my grandma used to have one hanging in her house. They're supposed to block all the negative things from entering your dreams.
I don't want nothing to do with this damn thing. That voodoo nonsense. I'm crazy. It's time for me to get going. I'll see you.
And with that, Phil walks off into the woods. Julie takes the dreamcatcher from Connor and runs her fingers over the bones.
Are these animal bones?
It looks like it.
James walks over and he takes it from Julie.
I mean, it is pretty cool.
He then hands the dreamcatcher to Kelsey.
Kelsey, I think you should take it and put it on James's wall. Seems like it fit his house.
College students scurry around on their way to class. A group of girls in bikinis are lying out, soaking up the sun. Julie and Connor sit under the shade of a tree while James and Marcus toss around a football.
What time is Haley's party on Saturday?
10, I think.
Listen, I hear she's having a bonfire. Are you going to be okay with that?
Yeah, I'll be okay.
James throws the football over Marcus's head, and it gets lodged in some bushes. Marcus jogs over to the bush and reaches in to retrieve the ball.
Fuck!
What happened?
Marcus pulls a rusty can out of the bush and drops it on the ground. A drop of blood trickles down his hand from the cut.
I cut myself on this jagged edge.
Jagged Edge? Whatever happened to their music?
Ugh. Who the hell just leaves trash like that laying around?
I didn't know you cared so much about the environment.
I don't. But now I have to get a fucking tetanus shot.
Marcus sits on a table in the middle of a room. He looks around the office and spots a tiny model of the skeletal system sitting on a desk. He begins to play with the model until the skull breaks off. He looks around sheepishly, opens a drawer, and sweeps a broken piece right into it. Marcus looks around the room as the lights begin to flicker. The lights return to normal when there's a knock at the door. Nurse Kimberly, a stunningly beautiful woman in her early 30s, enters the room carrying a clipboard.
Hello. Marcus, my name is Kimberly. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing perfect. How are you?
I'm fine.
Oh, yes, you are.
You're overdue for your tetanus shot.
Marcus looks at the needle and he seems a bit squeamish. Nurse Kimberly just smiles.
Aww, a big, strong guy like yourself wouldn't be afraid of a little old needle, would he?
I'm not a fan of being penetrated by anything, baby. But hopefully you feel a little differently about that matter.
Nurse Kimberly then looks down at his crotch and then right back up to his face.
Oh, it'll just be a little prick.
Fuck!
Phil sits on a log, drinking a beer by the fire. It's pitch black, but the fire illuminates the entire area, revealing a small tent. He takes a swig of beer before crushing the can and throwing it into the flames. The sound of a twig snapping catches Phil off guard.
Hello?
He looks around, but he sees nothing in the darkness. The dark figure, however, crosses behind the fire. The flames die down as Phil looks around nervously.
Is somebody there?
The fire goes out, and Phil is left in total darkness. Demonic whispers fill the night air as he fumbles around with his belongings. The whispers disappear as he finds a flashlight and turns it on. He shines the light towards the dark figure who is standing next to a tree off in the distance. The figure vanishes, though, into thin air, and the flashlight goes out. The fire reappears out of nowhere, and a rattlesnake comes slithering out of the flames. Phil stumbles backwards and trips over his backpack.
Shit!
He picks up a giant stick off the ground. The snake strikes at his ankles. Phil scoops the serpent up with a stick and flings it right into the fire. The snake emerges from the flames, unharmed, and slowly starts heading towards Phil. He looks around and notices a hatchet sitting atop a piece of lumber right by the tent. He runs over and he picks it up. The snake slithers up a wooden stump next to the fire. Phil is shaking with fear as he watches the snake getting ready to strike again. He looks down at the hatchet and he takes a deep breath. He throws it through the air and it hits the snake, cutting it in half. But the dismembered creature slowly begins to twitch. Phil stares in disbelief as the snake, it regenerates itself a brand new tail. A second rattlesnake head starts growing out of the other severed end.
What the hell?
Phil's whole body trembles. The two snakes sliver towards him at a rapid pace. They strike at Phil as he screams in the night air. Julie is lying down, looking at a framed picture of her and her little sister Jamie. That picture sits on a nightstand next to her bed. Jamie is a 7-year-old who shares her older sister's classic, beautiful looks. A slight breeze ruffles the drapes of an open window across the room. She looks over to the window, but before she has a chance to close it, a hand grabs her arm from outside.
Ah! Jesus Christ!
Sorry, babe. I'm sorry. I almost lost my balance.
Oh my God. Like, I have a front door, you know that, right? You don't have to go through my window. We're not in high school anymore.
I know. But listen, front doors are no fun.
Julie walks over and she crawls into bed right next to him. Connor looks over at the picture of Julie and her sister.
So, what you doing?
I've just been having trouble sleeping. I keep picturing her.
It's been 3 years, Julie.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, there's no proper amount of time. You know, the amount of time to grieve over the loss of a loved one. There's no proper amount of time for that. I get it.
She smiles, and she falls asleep in his arms. That night, in a dream, Julie's car pulls up in front of a burning house. The gloomy night sky is accompanied by the flashing lights of multiple fire trucks. The fire chief, a stocky man in his 50s, talks to a paramedic standing next to two stretchers containing Julie's mom and Julie's dad.
We found these two in there. They passed out because of the smoke, but I think we got them out in time.
Mom? Dad? What happened?
Whoa, calm down there, little lady. They can't hear you, but we got them out in time, I promise. Your parents are going to be just fine.
Where's Jamie? Jamie, she's my little sister. She was in the house.
Julie sprints towards the smoldering building.
Wait, you can't go in there.
The firefighter grabs Julie before she can enter the building. She kicks and she screams, but her efforts are useless. A large explosion of fire from within the house destroys any hope of salvaging her sister's life. Julie wakes up in a cold sweat. The clock next to her bed reads 4 o'clock in the morning. Connor is lying next to her, fast asleep. She rests her head back on the pillow and she shuts her eyes. Kelsey, Connor, and Julie sit at a booth talking about school. Marcus and Haley are on opposite sides of the table, sipping their drinks.
How did you do on that geology midterm?
Oh, I got 97. You?
72.
Did you even look at the packet that he handed out?
Will you two nerds please stop talking about school for 5 seconds? It's Friday night.
Okay, you guys should really slow down with the booze, okay? Like, you know it kills brain cells? I don't think any of you two can afford to lose anymore.
Oh, please. We all know that I'm too rich and good looking for brain cells.
Haley, I love you, but I still don't know how you got into college.
Well, I didn't do so great on my act. But Daddy bought that new branch for the medical building and bam, got me in.
Your act?
Babe, Haley, come here. Hey, I think you mean ACT, babe.
You're killing me.
Kelsey stares at a clown with bright red shoes, green overalls, and orange hair. The clown works for the restaurant and he entertains the kids. She watches him make a balloon animal for a little boy until a familiar voice breaks her trance.
Where's James?
You know, if he doesn't get here, I don't know if I can accept his apology. I'm starving and we are waiting for him to order.
I say we order some tequila shooters.
Good idea, Haley. Can we get a round, please, over here?
I guess I could. Well, I guess
It's okay.
we can forgive him
All right,
now.
I'll send him a Venmo request.
So you
Alright,
guys,
Starting
I'm
late.
almost ready for the party. It's gonna be so much fun. Okay, like I even have some of the new sorority pledges coming. It's gonna be great.
So, Haley, are you going to the party tomorrow night?
Oh, it's almost ready. Didn't you just hear me tell the guys? It's almost there, but I still have a few ends to tie up. But some of my new girls are gonna be there.
Nice. I'll give Marcus a chance to try to catch some
I
of
def-
his pickup lines.
Please, I think I'd rather focus on figuring out whose tits are real.
What? Don't be silly. None of our tits are real.
The waitress walks over and sets down a tray of shots on their table. Everybody grabs one and raises it in the air.
Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
James and Kelsey walk down the aisle of a brightly lit grocery store. They're pushing a cart filled with different cases of beer.
You would think she provoked you.
Yeah, I'm really not surprised we're the ones having to grab the beer and everything else for this.
They stop on the produce aisle. Kelsey sees a tiny spider crawling on one of the bananas. She gets a devilish grin on her face and she picks it up.
Hey, James.
She points the banana at James. He becomes visibly uncomfortable as he sees the arachnid.
Kelsey, what are you doing?
Kelsey,
The
what are
tiny
you
eight-legged
doing?
creature jumps off the banana and it lands on the floor. James stumbles backwards and knocks
Oh,
over a small
God.
display of soup cans. Kelsey walks over and steps on the spider.
Oh, God. Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
I got it. You're such a little bitch.
Kelsey smiles as she helps James up. He begins to pick up the cans of soup that are on the floor.
Not cool. You know I can't say
They
mad
begin
at
walking
you.
down another aisle of the store. Kelsey grabs a pack of green tea off the shelf and she throws it into the cart.
Nothing says it's party time like green
Shut up.
tea.
My grandma used to drink this stuff before she passed. She was really into like old school herbs and just all the healthy stuff.
She was a real old school Indian, huh? Like Pocahontas.
It's really the only Native American person you could think of, wasn't it?
Is Fergie an Indian?
You're an idiot.
Haley pulls a tray of Jell-O shots out of her refrigerator. Marcus stands by the kitchen table, pouring a bottle of liquor into a bowl of punch.
Haley, where are the cups?
I think I saw some in the pantry. Give me just 1 second.
Haley walks across the kitchen and
Cool.
steps inside a tiny walk-in pantry. She flips on the light and starts rummaging through the various canned goods. She then grabs a bag full of plastic cups.
Found them.
Marcus walks over to the door. He shuts off the light and he closes her inside.
Very funny, Marcus. Now open the door.
She breathes heavily and she loses her calm demeanor, frantically starts pounding on the door. kitchen.
Open the fucking door!
Back in the kitchen, Marcus is chuckling as he holds the door shut.
Marcus! Open the fucking door!
Jesus Christ, Haley, it was a fucking
Oh, I
joke.
can't believe I ever dated you.
I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have done that.
It's fine. It's fine. Just help me get the rest of this shit together. People are going to be here any minute.
A giant bonfire lights up the backyard. There are multiple college students doing shots and playing drinking games. James and Kelsey sit next to the flames, roasting marshmallows while Marcus talks to Haley and her sorority sisters. Connor and Julie, they sit up against a tree a considerable distance away from the fire.
Want a beer? Well, can I get you anything? Listen, I'm really proud of you for coming here tonight. I really am. I knew being out here is not easy.
Thanks, babe.
Julie gets lost in a trance, staring at the flames.
Babe. Babe? Babe!
What? Oh, I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna go inside for a second.
Cool. I'll come with you.
No, I'll just be a moment. I promise.
Sure.
Yes, I'll be all right.
Julie glances at a frat boy doing a beer bong. He then pukes up all the beer.
Besides, I feel like there needs to be at least one responsible person out here.
Julie walks into the house and takes a few deep breaths. She seems a bit discombobulated as she walks through the hallway. There she overhears some noise coming from the next room. Julie picks her head around the corner and looks into the kitchen. There she finds two sorority girls leaning against a wall. Pledge Stacy is using a compact mirror to apply makeup. Pledge Karen has a beer in one hand and is playing with her phone in the other.
I can't believe she came.
Well, her friends are all here, and well, she's just trying to fit in.
Well, you know, I heard she started that fire on purpose.
Oh, my God, like, no way.
Yeah, I heard she started it for the attention. Anyway, how did she manage to land a hot piece of ass like Connor?
Oh, you're terrible. Oh, my God. You better not let Haley hear you talking about her friends like that. She's going to have you on dunk tank duty at the carnival this year.
A single tear rolls down Julie's cheek as she turns away from the conversation. She eyes a bottle of liquor on a nearby table, and she grabs it, and she takes a swig.
I didn't know people still wore watches.
Listen, I'm just worried about Julie, okay?
Good Lord. You hate water, and she can't be around fire. You two would make, like, the worst Planeteers ever.
Was that a Captain Planet reference?
Such an underrated show.
Bro, you weren't even alive when that was, like, on at the time.
That's minor details. Come on, let's go play beer pong.
Connor gets up and walks off with James. As they walk off into the distance, Julie approaches where Connor was sitting, bottle still in hand. She has a blank expression on her face as she sits down. Julie takes another big swig from the bottle as she once again begins to gaze off towards the fire. The fire begins to spark, and some of the flames turn blue. Julie looks around, but none of the people partying near it seem to notice. All of a sudden, Julie begins to see flashes of Jamie in the flames. Her jaw drops as she sees her little sister more clearly now. Jamie is standing in the fire. She looks up, makes eye contact with her big sister, and smiles.
Jamie!
Connor is playing beer pong with James. Kelsey is at the table too. There are drunk college kids everywhere. Connor hears Julie scream.
Julie?
He runs from the game towards the bonfire. Julie is now standing right in front of the fire. Marcus is holding her back, trying to calm her down. She's fighting him and trying to move closer to the fire.
She's in there. I have to save her.
Honey, listen, it's okay. I'm here, okay? You were safe. Everything's okay.
I want to go home.
Thank you. We're going to take off.
Sweetie, are you sure you're going to be okay?
Julie nods and she walks off with Connor. Her friends shared worried expressions as they watched the two leave. The rest of the party goes back to drinking. Connor walks towards his car with Julie by his side. She breaks the silence.
I saw her, Connor. I saw Jamie. She was in the fire. Look, I know how I sound, but I'm telling you the truth.
Listen, sweetie, I love you, okay? But you know that's not possible.
I know it's not possible, but that's what I saw.
I shouldn't have brought you here. I'm sorry. It was way too soon. It's my fault. Listen, let's just go home and just like get some sleep and we can talk about this in the morning.
There are people passed out drunk all over the room. Marcus sits on a couch talking to a clearly intoxicated, busty brunette.
So, you want to go back to my place?
The brunette nods, but then turns and throws up all over the couch. Marcus quickly stands up and he walks away.
Never mind, babe.
He heads towards the door. There is a drunk guy passed out on the floor, sitting in an upright position. He's holding an unopened beer and has multiple obscenities drawn on his face with a permanent marker. Marcus stops at the passed out college kid and begins to pry the beer from his hand. Then he cracks it open.
Root beer.
Marcus takes a swig of the beer as he drives home. He turns on the radio and he finds a gritty country song. As Marcus continues to drive, the music starts cutting in and cutting out with some unsettling static. All of a sudden, there are demonic sounds coming from the radio. Marcus is unfazed. He takes another sip of his beer and hits the radio with his fist. The country song quickly returns. Marcus continues to drive. He finishes the beer. He throws it out the window. Marcus enters his apartment and turns on the lights. His bachelor pad is messy and very dimly lit. He heads straight for the kitchen. In there, Marcus opens up the fridge. The dream catcher is inside the fridge next to a case of beer and various other food items. Marcus looks in the fridge and he grabs a beer. He catches a glimpse of the dream catcher, but he does not react. As soon as he closes the door, he furrows his brow and he pauses for a moment. Marcus then opens the fridge back up and looks at the spot where the dream catcher was, but it's gone. He closes the door and pops the cap off the bottle of beer. The lights begin to flicker as he takes a swig. He looks up at the lights, but returns to his drink when the flickering stops. Marcus then heads into the living room. Multiple items of dirty clothes cover the floor. He carefully steps over his gym bag as he walks across the room. He picks up a dart off the coffee table and flings it through the air. He misses the dartboard entirely and instead hits a poster of Kim Kardashian hanging on the wall right next to it. He smirks and he takes another sip of his beer. The TV, sitting along the same wall as the dartboard, turns on all by itself. The screen is full of static as the sound of white noise fills the room. Marcus seems a bit confused, but walks over and simply turns off the TV. The dark figure moves quickly in the hallway right behind him. Marcus turns, but he doesn't catch a glimpse.
Hello?
He sets his drink down and hurls another dart, this time actually striking the dartboard. The TV turns on again all by itself. The white noise and static once again fill the apartment. Marcus walks over and unplugs the TV by ripping the cord out of the wall. He's breathing heavily as he stands between the TV and the dartboard. The lights begin to flicker. They go out, leaving Marcus standing in complete and total darkness.
Is somebody there?
He trembles as the TV once again turns on all by itself. The glow from the static screen illuminates the whole room. All of a sudden, a syringe flies through the air and sticks it in the dartboard. Marcus pulls the syringe from the board and he examines it.
What the fuck?
Another syringe flies through the air and strikes him in the arm. He cries out in pain and he quickly rips it out of his arm and throws it on the floor. More syringes begin to sail towards Marcus. He picks up a thick book of coffee off the coffee table and begins to bat away the objects hurtling towards him. Marcus trips over his gym bag and he falls to the floor. 3 more syringes glide through the air, stick in the wall right above his head. He stands up and he runs back into the kitchen. The knife holder on the counter begins to shake, and the drawers catapult open. The knives from the holder and multiple items of silverware fly from the drawers across the room towards him. A steak knife soars through the air. Marcus uses the book to block his face. The knife pierces through the book and stops a mere inch from his eye. He throws the book on the floor and he runs out of the room as objects continue to launch in his direction. A potato peeler strikes his leg as he's running. Marcus limps as fast as he can to his bedroom. He avoids the other sharp objects shooting towards him. He slams the door behind him and he locks it. Marcus turns on the light. The light bulb sparks for a moment, but then explodes. He stumbles across the dark room and sits on the floor next to his bed. There is silence. He takes this time to catch his breath and frantically remove the potato peeler from his leg. He winces as he pulls it out. Blood begins to spill from the wound. Quickly, he grabs a shirt from his bed and rips the sleeve off. He ties the fabric around his leg to stop the bleeding. Marcus pulls out his cell phone. His hands shake as he dials 911. As soon as he sends the call, it's canceled. He tries again, and the call is immediately canceled once more. Demonic noises quietly begin to seep into his room. Marcus pulls up a text message to Haley and begins typing,
Help. Please call the police and send...
But the message starts to erase all by itself. Marcus tries again. This time he only gets out the word
help
before the message begins to disappear. The skull and crossbones emoji appears on the screen. He's holding the phone, but it is not typing anything. More and more skull and crossbones emojis begin to fill the screen. The otherworldly sounds begin to get louder, and they are right outside his bedroom door. The phone begins to glow red as the screen continues to fill with the death emoji. The phone now burns Marcus's hand. He throws it across the room. Just moments before it emits a few sparks, then the phone explodes. The demonic sounds are now blaring out in his hallway. All of a sudden they stop, and now it's quiet once more. Marcus continues to tremble as he sits in complete silence. Then the doorknob begins to jiggle, slowly at first, but then more and more rapidly. A hard banging sound fills the room as something begins to pound on the door. Marcus sees that the lock won't hold and limps over to brace the door. He puts all of his weight into holding it closed.
What do you want? Please leave me alone.
The pounding on the door increases as Marcus makes one last plea. He's sobbing now as tears roll down his face. Then the pounding stops. Marcus looks around as, once again, all is quiet. He drops to the floor and he lets out a sigh. The back of his head falls back and rests against the door. Then bam, a blade quickly pierces through both the door and Marcus's skull. Blood begins to stream down his face. The blade is withdrawn as Marcus's lifeless body slumps over onto the floor. An alarm clock goes off. Julie groans as she rolls over in bed and turns it off. Connor enters the room with a tray full of breakfast food.
Ugh, I feel like I got hit by a train.
Maybe that's called a hangover. I know it's been a while since you've had one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to talk about last night?
No, not right now.
Well, whenever you're ready, I'm here.
Julie's phone starts to vibrate on the nightstand right next to Connor.
Can you see who that is?
It's Haley.
Oh, God. If I feel this way, I don't even want to know what she feels like. Hey, you're up early. Whoa, no, wait, slow down. What? I can't understand you.
She rapidly sits up in bed, spilling the juice that's on the tray.
Oh, babe, come on.
Yeah, no. We'll be over there on our... Yeah, we'll be there soon. We're on our way.
All right. What's going on?
Come on, I'll tell you in the car.
Multiple police cars and an ambulance surround the building. An officer is taping off the crime scene while another is working crowd control. Officer Jenkins is addressing the crowd.
I need you to all step back.
Julie and Connor push through the crowd of curious onlookers and slip under the yellow tape. They approach the covered body being loaded into the ambulance on a stretcher.
Whoa. Now, what do y'all think you're doing?
That's our friend.
What the hell happened?
It's like I told the other ones, there's nothing I can tell you at this time. Wait a minute. Actually, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah. Do you know of anybody that would want to, you know, stab your friends?
No. What she means is, do you know anybody that would want to hurt your friend?
No way. No. His humor may not be for everybody, but like overall, like he's well liked. Like he had a ton of friends.
Yeah, that's what the others said.
Julie just stares at Haley.
Miss?
Yeah.
Your friend said you were all at a party last night. Did you see him leave with anybody?
No, we left early.
We were feeling a little under the weather.
Yeah, I had too much to drink.
Well, I'll give you my card, and if you think of anything, you'll let us know, correct?
Yeah.
Julie and Connor walk off and take a seat next to Kelsey, James, and Haley.
Hell of a thing to deal with on your first day back, huh?
If you ever reveal details from the post-crime scene again, I'll make sure the captain has your shield and gun before you can finish your rookie year. You got it?
Officer Zwilling turns her gaze to the group of grieving friends. She eyes them suspiciously. The coffee shop is nearly empty, except for a few college students sitting with their laptops.
I just don't understand who could do this. I mean, who would want to hurt Marcus?
The gang remains silent. They don't have an answer. Julie turns her attention to a news report that's playing on a TV attached to the coffee shop wall. A picture of Phil is on the screen with the caption, "Local man found dead in the woods." A news anchor is talking about the story, but the volume on the TV is all the way down. Julie shouts over to a student who is sitting by the TV.
Hey, yeah, can you turn that up, please?
Hey, that's that weird dude from the woods.
The body of a man found in the woods has been identified as local construction worker Phil Sturges. The coroner's report has confirmed the death to be from a venomous snake bite.
Snake bite?
Venomous snakes are not common in this area, but at this time, wildlife officials are urging people to refrain from camping until they do a proper sweep of the woods.
Wait, didn't he say he was afraid of snakes?
I mean, I think so. Why?
No reason.
Kelsey is sprawled out on the couch with her head in James's lap. James brushes the hair from her face.
It's been a rough couple of days.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Kelsey sits up and rests her head on James's shoulder. Her gaze shifts to the dream catcher hanging on the wall.
I can't believe you kept that thing.
I mean, I thought maybe it would bring us good luck. I don't think it's working.
You know, a lot of Native American tribes believe in these things. They would hang the dream catchers over the cradles of their infants. They're supposed to protect and ward off evil spirits.
Yeah. Well, I think this one may be broken. Seems like nothing but bad luck since we found it.
Yeah, it really does, doesn't it?
Hey, I'm getting kind of hungry. Want me to make you something to eat?
No thanks. I should probably head over to the fairgrounds. I told Haley I'd help her set up for the carnival, and I don't know, I kind of figured it would help her get her mind off Marcus.
God, I hope so. I hope it helps all of us take our minds off of things. I'm going to fix a quick bite to eat, and then I'll meet you guys over there.
Okay, sounds like a plan. See you soon.
Kelsey kisses James and heads out the door. James walks past the dream catcher and heads into the kitchen. A flame lights up under the burner as James turns on the gas stove. He turns on a small radio that's sitting on the kitchen counter. Jazz music is quietly playing as he grabs a carton of eggs, cheese, and a green pepper from the fridge. He cracks open and scrambles up a few eggs, then proceeds to pour them into a frying pan that's on the stove top. He takes out a cutting board and a knife and begins to chop up the pepper. The lights flicker for a moment before returning to normal. James does not react and he just keeps chopping. An orb weaver spider crawls out from one of the bottom cabinets and begins weaving a string of silk web from one side of the kitchen cabinets to the other. The web makes a string near James's feet. James uses the knife to sweep the cut up green peppers into the frying pan and places the cutting board into the sink. A few hairy legs slowly start to emerge from the garbage disposal. James is focused on his omelet and doesn't even notice the tarantula slowly crawling from his sink. The lights flicker again. James reacts this time. The radio starts changing stations and ends on static. The static contains faint hints of a demonic chant. James seems a bit uneasy as he turns and he smacks the radio. It goes back to playing calming jazz music. His feet come close
Piece
to
of
the line of
junk.
the web spun between the cabinets, but he doesn't come into contact with it. He returns to his cooking and he sprinkles a little shredded cheese into the pan. James flips his culinary creation onto a plate. He turns off the stove and moves the pan to another burner. As soon as the flame goes out, multiple black widow spiders slowly start to crawl from underneath the burner. James is oblivious to the eight-legged creatures slowly emerging from all over the kitchen. He grabs a fork from the counter and he places it in his mouth, freeing up both hands. He grabs his plate of food with one hand, scoops up the other unused ingredients with the other. James turns to walk to the kitchen table, but immediately trips over the spider's trap. As he falls, the contact with the floor forces the fork to get lodged deep into the back of his throat. The fall also breaks his ankle, forcing the lower part of his fibula to burst right through the skin. The plate shatters on the floor as the meal James prepared begins to twitch. A brown recluse slowly breaks through the egg and begins to emerge from the omelet. Then more and more spiders of all different sizes begin to crawl from all over the kitchen. James is sprawled out on the floor, unable to move. He gags on the blood pouring from his throat wound as he notices the dream catcher on the floor under the kitchen table. His eyes dart back and forth in fear as he begins to take notice of the spiders crawling directly towards him. James goes to scream, but only the sound of gargling blood comes out. Multiple spiders begin to crawl up his torso. He tries to scream once more as the arachnids, they've reached his face. The sound of a blood-soaked groan fills the room as a wolf spider enters his mouth. Workers are setting up various rides and attractions. A fun house with a creepy-looking clown plastered on the side of it is being assembled near the sorority dunk tank. Julie is working on coloring a sign while Connor is in the balloon duty.
Hey, need a hand?
Yes, please.
She begins to blow up a balloon, but stops when she notices an unsettling clown.
Jesus, did Haley have to put the dunk tank here?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Kels. Haley said this is the only spot they had available.
Where is Haley anyway?
Out back.
Kelsey peeks around back, and she sees Haley yelling at two of the sorority pledges.
And I want you to tell all the girls that they better be here at 6 p.m. on the dot the night of the carnival. Anybody who's late is going to be cleaning the house bathrooms with a toothbrush. You got me? Those Delta bitches, they're not going to raise more money than us this year.
Each pledge nods nervously. Haley notices Kelsey watching.
Yes, thank you so much for coming.
Of course. How are you doing?
Oh, just trying to get everything done for the carnival, everything ready. The guy filling the tank has been a real pain in my ass. But I think I've got that all figured out now. I still need to make a few more posters, print off a couple of more flyers. But other than that, oh, no, I do have a few more errands to run before the night of. But we're getting there.
Haley, it's just us. How are you really doing?
Honestly, I'm just trying to keep busy.
Yeah, us too.
The faint sound of a creepy clown's laugh lingers in the air. Kelsey seems to be the only one that hears it.
Did you guys hear that?
Hear what?
Never mind. I thought I heard something.
She turns and she looks at the clown funhouse. She focuses hard on the big picture of the creepy clown that's on the front of it. The blaring sound of police sirens breaks her trance. Two police cars speed by on a nearby street.
James should have been here by now. He's not answering. This is not like him.
I'm sure his phone is just it's off, maybe it died.
No. Something doesn't feel right.
Listen, we're about done over here, okay? Like me and Jules will go with you if you want to go check on him.
Yeah, Haley, is it cool if we take off?
Oh, of course. Thank you so much for your all's help. I'm going to do a couple more things here and then I'll catch up with you later.
No, he always answers his phone.
Multiple police cars sit in front of the house with their lights flashing. Connor and Julie's car pulls up to the house. They rush up to the porch but are stopped by a police officer that's guarding the front door.
I'm sorry, nobody can come in here right now.
Listen, this is our friend's house. What happened?
Listen, I'm sorry, but there's just no information I can tell you at this time.
James?
They won't let us in.
Another officer steps outside and begins to talk to the officer that's guarding the door. Julie notices that he's distracted as Connor tries to get Kelsey to calm down.
Come on.
She motions for them to follow her. The group sneaks around the side of the house unnoticed. They creep into the backyard and inch closer and closer to the screen door that leads right to the kitchen.
One of the neighbors called it in, said they heard some commotion. It was coming from the kitchen.
One of the kids who was at the Stab and Vic's crime scene the other day?
Yeah, I think so.
The three slowly peek through the screen door and see Officers Willing and Officer Jenkins kneeling over James's dead body. Kelsey's eyes grow wide. Connor covers her mouth, masking her scream. But a sly squeal escapes through the fingers.
Did you hear something?
I think you're just getting paranoid, old timer.
They go back to examining the body, which is covered in tiny red bumps.
Now, what do you suppose these are?
Well, how the heck do I know? But they look like spider bites.
Now, how the hell do you know what spider bites look like?
Oh, come on. I Googled it after the last Spider-Man movie.
You know you're an actual moron, right?
Zwilling puts on some gloves and begins to examine the bulbs even closer.
Well, were there any spiders found when the body was discovered?
None.
Zwilling looks over to the kitchen table and notices the dream catcher propped up against one of its legs. He stands up and walks over to the table. She picks up the mysterious object and proceeds to give it a long, hard look.
What is it?
Zwilling pulls out an evidence bag and places the dream catcher directly inside.
Well, evidence.
Connor, Kelsey, and Julie's faces are barely visible as they continue to peek through the screen door in the background. The three friends stop peering through the screen just as Zwilling turns to face their direction.
Get a couple of officers to do a sweep of the backyard.
On it. Can I get a couple of officers to do a sweep of the perimeter?
Copy
Thanks.
that.
Guys, we gotta go.
Yeah, come on. We gotta go.
Officer Zwilling is typing up a report at her computer.
Welling, how things been going?
Now, Captain, you don't have to keep checking up on me.
Just doing my job.
Malone looks at a folder sitting on the desk next to the evidence bag containing the dream catcher.
Is that the coroner's report from the boy you found in the kitchen?
Yes, sir.
Well, what's it say?
The autopsy revealed that the cause of death was not the puncture to his throat.
Well, don't keep me waiting in suspense. What was it?
Well, the cause of death was a combination of different spider venoms found in his bloodstream.
Did you find any evidence of spiders at the scene?
No, sir. You know, the crazy thing is...
The crazy thing?
The crazier thing is the majority of the spiders that the toxicology report identified live nowhere near Tennessee. Some aren't even found in the United States.
That makes no damn sense.
Malone then notices the dream catcher on the desk.
What the hell is that?
Well, that was found at the crime scene.
Did you dust it for prints?
Yes, sir. No prints were found. I was just getting ready to file it into evidence.
No. You will do no such thing.
Sir?
The last thing we need is for somebody to find out we're holding onto Native American artifacts and keeping them from their tribe. I mean, that would be a media nightmare.
Well, what the hell do you want me to do with it?
Return it to the tribe that it belongs to.
And how the hell am I supposed to know which tribe it belongs to?
There's only one tribe that's ever lived around these parts, and there's only one man who comes to mind.
Oh, come on, Captain. Please don't make me go over there.
He's already called me 3 times this week. I'm not going over there.
Malone walks away, chuckling as he goes. Zwilling looks down at the Dreamcatcher.
Shit.
Julie, Connor, Kelsey, and Haley sit quietly at their usual table. Kelsey's eyes are red from crying. Connor stirs his iced coffee with his straw.
Okay, something is going on here, and I don't know what it is, but I feel like it has something to do with the Dreamcatcher.
That gross thing that we found at the river?
Yeah.
Sweetie, listen, I know we're all very upset right now, but listen, I just...
No, I know it sounds crazy, but, like, hear me out, okay? All this weird shit started happening after we found that thing.
Look, I know I'm not the brightest out of us, but there's got to be a better explanation than that.
Look, that creepy guy from the woods, he was scared of snakes, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, the news said that he was killed by a snake. Marcus hated sharp objects, but yet he was stabbed to death. And we heard the police say that there was a bunch of spider venom in James's body, and he had spider bites all over him. I know it doesn't make sense, but it seems like they were killed by their biggest fear.
Honey, I know we're all like a little scared and confused right now, but that doesn't make any sense. Okay, there's got to be a rational reason or explanation or something for all of this.
I think she's right.
Oh my gosh, come on. Sweetheart, I love you. What happened to James and Marcus was awful. But this, it just doesn't make any sense.
No, I've had a bad feeling about that dream catcher ever since we found it.
Yes, me too.
Well, I don't know what's going on, but I know that I'm going to start protecting myself, and I suggest you all do the same.
Haley puts her purse on the table. She opens it slightly and she pulls a handgun halfway out.
Whoa! 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 Shit! Hold on. You can't have that in here.
Oh my God, where did you get that?
What? Karen's dad is a cop. She always has one on hand. She gave me this one whenever Marcus died.
Julie stares off at the fireplace that's across the coffee shop. She begins to hear whispers of her sister's voice as she continues to zone out.
Jules?
Julie gasps in terror as she sees a slight outline of Jamie's face right in the flames.
Jules?
All right, look. All of this is crazy, right? But right now, I don't think any of us need to be alone. Some of the girls are leaving tomorrow night for spring break. We'll have a couple of extra rooms at the house. Why don't you all just come and stay with us for a few nights? Okay.
Officer Zwilling enters her cluttered one-bedroom apartment. She props her back up against a decanter that's filled with whiskey that's sitting on a coffee table right in front of her couch. Next to the couch, an answering machine sits on top of a mini fridge. Zwilling takes a seat. She sets her gun and badge down on the table. She reaches down, takes out a pistol that was around her ankle, and sets it next to her badge. The answering machine is blinking with a number 2 showing on the digital display. She hits the button. The first message is from her therapist.
Miss Swelling, I was just informed by my secretary that you canceled your appointment for tomorrow. I just wanted to remind you that these sessions are mandatory for your reinstatement.
Zwilling deletes the message before it finishes playing. The next message is from Officer Jenkins.
Hey, partner. I just wanted to let you know I signed us up for security detail at the carnival this weekend. It's double time, so I figured, hey, you wouldn't mind. Have a good night.
Zwilling shakes her head and she grabs a beer from the mini fridge. The sound of her decanter falling over snaps her attention over to the table. Her bag has fallen, and a few documents have spilled out along with the dreamcatcher, which is partially revealed. Whiskey is spilling all over her belongings. She sets down her beer. Zwilling quickly picks up the decanter and puts the top back on it. She looks around and sees a dirty t-shirt draped over the couch. She grabs it and uses it to clean up the spilled liquor. As she's wiping up the whiskey, she notices the dreamcatcher. She stops what she's doing and she grabs it from the table. She removes it from the plastic evidence bag and she holds it in her hand. Zwilling starts to zone out while she stares at it. The lights flicker briefly. She looks over to the lamp, but her focus returns to the dreamcatcher once the lights return back to normal. The phone rings, breaking her silence. She doesn't answer it, and the answering machine kicks in. The sound of eerie static plays on the machine. Then a demonic voice is heard whispering through the static.
So.
Zwilling sets the dreamcatcher down. She slowly approaches the answering machine with caution. The raspy, demonic voice continues to speak, gradually getting louder. Zwilling aggressively whacks the answering machine with her hand. The voice switches from demonic to the voice of an elderly lady, Officer Zwilling's mother.
Soon I'll be dead, and you'll regret not visiting me more, Missy. Your sister visits. She even sent me flowers on my birthday. But you? No, you can't even send your poor old mother a card. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Zwilling rolls her eyes and grabs a shot glass from the coffee table. She fills it with whiskey from the decanter and she throws it back. Julie and Connor are busy packing a couple of overnight bags. There are clothes and toiletry items sprawled out all over Julie's bed. Connor throws his toothbrush and deodorant in the bag and begins to dig through his belongings.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, what's up?
She takes a seat on the bed as Connor pulls out a pair of Mickey Mouse pajama bottoms.
Do you think these are too slutty? I mean, I don't want like Haley's sorority sisters throwing themselves all over me, you know. Like,
You know, I don't think we have to worry about that happening.
ouch. What's wrong?
I just feel guilty for smiling.
I know what you mean. I just keep, I don't know, I'm just trying to like distract myself because I don't know. If I stop and think about Marcus or James, I just. I don't know what I would do without you.
I'm not going anywhere. I don't know how any of this is happening, but we can all get together later tonight and figure out how to stop the Dreamcatcher before it hurts anyone else.
Honey, I don't know what's going on, but I know that that dream catcher that we found doesn't have anything to do with any of this, any of it. There has to be a reasonable explanation, okay? We can figure it out together.
She grabs the picture of her and her sister off the nightstand. She stares at it for a moment before placing it directly into her bag. Officer Willing's patrol car pulls up a long, winding driveway. Joseph Tahoma, a gray-haired Native American man, is crouched down doing some gardening. Ozzy Pawsborn, his energetic golden retriever, greets Willing as she steps out of her car.
Hey, Ozzy! Ozzy! Get down! It's about time you guys made it out here. I've been calling your office for 2 weeks.
I'm not here about your property dispute with your neighbor.
That son of a bitch put his damn fence in my yard!
Then Mr. Buckner,
For the last time, my damn fence isn't on your property.
Your people took our land once, and it's not going to happen again. That guy. Well, if you aren't responding to my calls, then what the hell are you doing out here?
Zwilling pulls the evidence bag containing the dreamcatcher out of her coat pocket.
I came to drop this off.
Drop it!
Zwilling is startled and immediately drops the bag.
Jesus Christ! Do you know what it is?
Did you touch it?
Huh?
The dream catcher. Did you touch it?
I mean, no. No, of course not.
Good.
Haley sits by her window, loading her handgun. She sets the gun down on her desk and turns towards her friends.
You know, I feel a little better just having you guys here.
So, should we talk about a game plan?
Game plan?
Yeah, like, how are we going to stop the dream catcher?
Babe.
Look, I know you don't believe me, but it's the only thing that makes sense.
How does any of this make sense?
Look, I can't explain it. Dream catchers are supposed to keep evil and nightmares from entering our dreams, but what if this is like a fucked up version of one that just takes everything that we're afraid of and just projects it onto us?
Kels, please don't encourage her. Please. She's having a hard time with everything.
She's having a hard time with everything. I just lost the love of my life, Connor. You don't think I'm having a hard time too?
Okay, listen, I know. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. I'm sorry. I'm just listen. I don't know. I need to get some air.
Connor stands up and he walks out of the room. The girls exchange worried looks as he exits. Connor paces around his backyard. He pulls a pack of cigarettes out of his back pocket and he takes one out. He lights it and he takes a long drag.
I thought you quit.
Connor looks around, confused. He looks up and sees Julie sticking her head out of Haley's window.
Seems like a good time as any time to start back up.
Well, just please come back up here when you're done, okay?
All right.
Connor slowly walks to the edge of the sorority swimming pool. He stares at his reflection in the water for a moment before taking another puff from his cigarette. The ashes in the pool, and he looks up at the dreary night sky. A bloody arm slowly starts to emerge from the water. Connor doesn't notice as the hand, that's more bone than rotting flesh, grabs him by the ankle and yanks. Connor's body flips back, knocking his head against the ground. The lit cigarette remains by the pool as the decaying arm slowly pulls Connor's limp body down into the water.
He should be done by now.
She gets up and she walks over to the window. Julie gazes into the backyard, but is greeted only by the sounds of the night.
Connor?
You probably just went for a walk, hun.
No, something doesn't feel right. Connor?
She squints her eyes a bit and notices the lit cigarette lying by the edge of the pool. The fear on her face is evident as she grabs the handgun from the table and darts out of the room.
Hey, what the hell?
Haley?
Kelsey follows Julie out of the room. Haley looks over to her desk and her lamp begins to flicker.
Connor?
Multiple rotting arms are holding Connor in place at the bottom of the pool as he struggles to break free.
Connor? Connor?
Connor begins to struggle harder when he hears the muffled sound of Julie's voice. He tries to scream for help, but a decrepit hand covers his mouth. Julie stands above the pool, closely inspecting the calm water. She sees nothing.
Something's not right. No, something is definitely not right.
Kelsey now seems worried. She looks at the gun that's in Julie's hand.
Hey, why don't you let me hold the gun?
Haley slowly approaches her desk lamp as the light continues to flicker. She cautiously extends her hand to tighten the bulb. As her hand gets close to the light, the bulb shatters, leaving her in total darkness. She jumps back in fear. Then, demonic sounds fill the room as she continues to stumble backwards. She finds a lamp on her nightstand and she turns it on. The desk by the window begins to shake, which knocks the busted lamp completely over. All 4 bedroom walls slowly start to close in. Haley runs to her door. She swings it open, only to reveal that there's a brick wall on the other side. She closes the door. And she looks over. She looks over to her bedroom window, but the window is gone. She turns back around to find that her bedroom door now has also disappeared.
Help! Somebody!
Connor continues to struggle at the bottom of the pool. He is able to wiggle his right arm free and rips away the hand that covers his mouth. He begins to kick free and he escapes from the bloody limbs that are imprisoning him. Connor swims up towards the top of the pool, but he crashes into an invisible glass-like barrier that keeps him trapped underwater. But he sees Julie looking directly at him as he begins to pound on the glass. He looks down, and down at the bottom he sees a dark figure watching him from the pool. Connor stares at the figure for a moment before turning his attention back to Julie.
Connor? Connor, where are you?
I don't think he's out here, sweetie. Why don't we go back inside? I'm sure he'll come back up in a few minutes.
No.
Connor continues to bang on the invisible barrier that keeps him trapped. A rotting corpse grabs him by the leg and tries to pull him back down below. Connor looks down and he kicks the body off of him.
Get off me!
His eyes are now wide with terror. The bottom of the pool is gone and has been replaced by a demonic gateway spewing corpse after corpse after corpse, all heading towards him. He kicks away another body that's trying to grab him and then returns to pounding on the barrier. Julie continues to stare at the quiet water. She slowly raises the gun, pointing it directly into the pool. Her finger wraps around the trigger.
Julie, no.
There's a bang, and glass shatters everywhere as the bullet penetrates the barrier, freeing Connor.
Jesus Christ.
The calm blue water is gone, replaced by horrific black muck with limbs floating in it. Connor takes a huge breath of air. He quickly swims over towards the side of the pool, and he grabs Julie's outstretched arms. Their eyes lock briefly before a mangled corpse pops up from the vile water and pulls Connor back under. Connor fights underwater as more and more bodies try to grab at him. He breaks free and is able again to resurface. Julie grabs and holds onto both of his arms. She starts to pull him in as the countless limbs continue to try to drag him back down below. With the help of Julie, Connor slowly starts to pull himself up and out of the water. As Connor is about halfway out of the pool, a decrepit body emerges from the muck and grabs him by the torso. Half of the body's skin is completely missing, and chunks of bloody flesh rip off the corpse as Connor tries to fight it off. Kelsey looks around and she sees a shovel propped up against the house. She grabs the shovel and she swings it at the figure, knocking its undead body back into the pool. Julie quickly pulls Connor to safety. As soon as his body is fully out of the water, the pool returns to normal, and the bodies, they disappear. Connor sprawls out on the ground and tries to force out a few words while catching his breath, and Julie hugs him.
Okay. I think I believe you now.
Julie smiles and squeezes him even harder. Connor looks up at the house where Haley's window used to be.
What? Wasn't there a window there?
Haley!
Haley stands on her bed with tears pouring down her face as the walls continue to close in on her. Various items of furniture have been knocked over all around the room. Her body trembles as she chokes out a cry for help.
Help me! Somebody!
All the furniture is now colliding with her bed. As the walls close in tighter and tighter, the wood from her desk and dresser begins to split under the pressure. Some of the shards of wood puncture her skin as she again cries out in pain.
Somebody, please help me!
Kelsey stares at a blank wall where Haley's bedroom door used to be. She feels around the wall for a moment before putting her ear up to it. She can hear Haley's faint screams through the plaster.
I can hear her through the wall.
Connor frantically looks around the hallway. He finds a fire extinguisher hanging on the wall inside a glass case. He grabs it and he runs back to his friends.
Hey, stand back, okay?
The walls have almost completely closed in on Haley. Her whole body trembles in fear as she unable to choke out any more screams. Haley squeals in pain as the walls begin to crush her. The sound of her bones breaking fills the tiny area that once was her room. Blood slowly begins to drip from her eyes as the wall may now crush her stomach.
Her.
What the hell are you guys doing?
We need to get into Haley's room.
Did you try the doorknob?
Connor, Julie, and Kelsey all turn to see that Haley's bedroom door has now returned. The door is all beat up from being hit by the fire extinguisher. Connor turns the knob and swings the door open and now enters Haley's room. But Haley's blood is splattered all over the walls. The room has returned to normal, but there's a large pile of torn flesh, broken bones, and bloody entrails that all now are the remains of Haley's body. Julie looks in the room and sees what's left of her friend, sitting on the blood-saturated sheets of what was her bed. She quickly turns and she hugs Connor. Kelsey stares in horror. Her hand trembles as she shakes her head. She closes the door and they step back into the hallway.
What are we going to do now?
Julie pulls Officer Zwilling's card from her pocket.
The cops are going to think that we did this.
Yeah, I'd like to see how they can explain that. I really don't care what they think right now, okay? I don't know what else to do.
The red and blue lights from a few police cars in the front of the house illuminate the backyard. Haley's window is once again visible and is now taped off with crime scene tape.
So you're saying that your friend was most likely crushed by her bedroom walls and creatures were holding him down in this pool?
Yeah.
Miss, have you been drinking?
No, I know how it sounds, but it's true.
Well, you're half right. It does sound crazy.
Hey, they seem to be having some issues with the body bag.
Well, what's the issue?
Well, there's not much of a body left to put in the bag.
Jesus Christ.
Zwilling notices a group of sorority sisters gathering in the backyard. She turns back to Jenkins.
Will you do something about that?
All right. All right, everybody. Nothing to see here. Back inside, please.
The sorority girls all begin to head back inside, except for one African-American sorority sister who locks eyes with Zwilling. Zwilling lingers for a moment before breaking from her cold, cold stare.
Okay. Look, none of this makes any sense, okay? I'm going to need you guys to come down to the station so I can ask you some more questions.
The dimly lit basement is illuminated by a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling. The room is a cluttered mess full of storage bins and antiques. Mr. Tahoma shoves some boxes out of the way while searching for something.
Where is it?
He then moves a few more boxes before revealing a safe made entirely of calcite. Mr. Tahoma smiles and bends down to pick it up. He struggles with the weight of it.
Oh, I forgot how heavy this thing was. Ugh.
Slowly he drags it across the floor and pushes it against the wall next to his work table. Mr. Tahoma then puts on a pair of gardening gloves and uses a grabber tool to pick up the dream catcher from the basement floor. He places it inside the safe and then slams the door shut. Julie, Connor, and Kelsey sit at a cold metal table in a bleak, windowless room. They have bags under their eyes as they fight to stay awake.
How long has it been? How long
Officer Jenkins enters the room with a stack of papers and a round of coffee for the gang.
Shouldn't you have?
All right, you three aren't
no,
suspects at this time. One of the girls at the house confirmed your story and said that you were trying to break into the room to help your friend. Plus, I just don't see how any of you could have done any of this. I mean, we're just trying to get everybody's story straight and make sense of all this. But we may have some more questions later, so don't plan on leaving the state or going anywhere. For now, you're free to go.
Wait a minute. So, you believe us?
Yeah.
Okay. Then what about the dream catcher? Like, we're not safe.
Well, that dream catcher thing that kills you by your greatest fear, this is the item you're talking about, right? It's been returned to the tribe.
Wait. Just because some Native Americans believe in dream catchers, you can't just assume that that thing belongs to a tribe.
Well, I mean, Mr. Tahoma seemed to recognize it. And look, you kids have been through a lot. So why don't you just go home and get some sleep? That's what I'd do.
What's wrong, Kels?
Grab your stuff. I'll tell you in the car.
Officers Willing watches Connor, Julie, and Kelsey from behind a two-way mirror. She lights up a cigarette as she watches the gang gather their belongings and exit the interrogation room. Officer Jenkins then enters the room.
What do you think?
Well, their stories seem to be consistent this entire time.
Yeah, I still think there's something they aren't telling us.
Well, he was right, you know.
Huh?
The Connor kid in the movies. I mean, they always separate everybody into different interrogation rooms.
This isn't a fucking movie, kid.
Connor and Julie stand behind Kelsey as she rings the doorbell. Mr. Tahoma answers the door wearing a t-shirt, shorts, and a bathrobe.
Kelsey, sweetheart, what are you doing here?
Hey, Grandpa. Grandpa, these are my friends, Julie, Connor.
It's nice to meet you.
Will you keep it down over there? I'm trying to get some work done.
I swear to God, if you don't shut the hell up, I'm going to come over there and scalp you.
I'd like to see you fuck.
I'm sorry about that. Come on in. We don't actually scalp people. That's a bad joke.
Mr. Tahoma leads the group into his beautifully decorated living room, where Native American artifacts are displayed throughout. Ozzy runs up to Kelsey. She bends down and she pets him.
Osborne, good boy.
Yeah. Hey, please take a seat. Anywhere you'd like.
Julie and Kelsey, they sit on the couch, and Connor sits in an armchair located right by a big screen plasma TV. He admires the impressive surround sound system.
Wow. This isn't at all what I expected.
Well, We don't all live in teepees, son.
Oh, sir, no, that's not what I.
Ah, I'm just messing with you. This one's fun to mess with right here.
Mr. Tahoma, I think we may be in trouble, including you. Did the police bring a dream catcher to you recently?
What do you kids know of the dream catcher?
We found it in the woods last week, and ever since then, our friends have been dying.
You didn't touch it, did you?
What do you mean?
Kelsey, did you touch it?
Yes. We all did.
It's okay. It's okay. You're all safe now.
What's going on?
When I was a boy, my grandfather would tell me stories of a dream catcher created in the depths of the bad place by the spirits who wandered there in misery and pain. A single touch against human skin was enough to torment whoever it had with their greatest fears.
How long has it been around?
That I don't know, Kelsey. Some evil in this world has just always existed.
Why are you just now telling her about it?
I wanted to protect you. According to my grandfather, it was stolen from our tribe before he was born. It hasn't been seen in over 150 years.
Okay. So you said we're safe now? We're good? What did you mean by that?
It can't hurt you anymore.
Where is it now?
Follow me.
The gang follows as Mr. Tahoma opens a door leading to the basement. Mr. Tahoma flips on the light and leads the group down a narrow staircase.
Come on. Watch your step there.
It's like an episode of Hoarders down here.
Your grandmother did most of the organizing. I haven't been down here much since she passed.
Ozzy barks and races down the stairs to join the group. Mr. Tahoma, he grabs a box of dog treats off his work table. He tosses Ozzy a snack and sets the box down. The box is placed next to a bowling pin, a bowling ball, and various other random objects. Mr. Tahoma gestures to the calcite safe.
It's in there.
Is that calcite?
You've got a good eye. This has been in the family for years, passed down from generation to generation. I was hoping to never have to use it.
But why calcite?
I don't know much about the dream catcher, but out of all the stories I've heard, only two things remain consistent. The first is that once it comes into contact with human flesh, it knows everything about that person. They see what it wants them to see. They feel what it wants them to feel. It uses their greatest fears to hunt them until they either conquer that fear or they die trying. The second thing I know is that calcium carbonate can dampen its power.
And calcite is a crystallized form of calcium carbonate.
Exactly.
What? It was on our midterm.
I'm glad that one of us paid attention in class.
Well, it has to be completely surrounded by calcium carbonate in order for it to be rendered powerless. As long as it's in this safe, you kids have nothing to worry about. So, why don't you kids run on home and get some sleep? You all look like shit.
No wrong.
That night, in a dream, Julie's entire house is engulfed in flames. Julie races through her former home, searching for her baby sister.
Jamie? Jamie, where are you?
Jamie is standing on the other side of the room, facing the wall. Julie slowly approaches her.
Jamie, come on. We have to get out of here.
Julie cautiously slinks up to her baby sister and very carefully reaches out to touch her shoulder. Jamie whips around, revealing her burnt skin and black, demonic eyes. Julie stumbles back in fear as Jamie reveals an unsettling smile. Julie then wakes up in her bed. She's dripping with sweat and breathing heavily. As she catches her breath, she looks out the window to see the sun is setting.
Dinner in bed? I definitely get some boyfriend points for this. What's wrong? Jules? Did you have another bad dream?
Yeah. What time is it?
It's 6:30. We slept most of the day. I think we can both agree it was needed.
Yeah.
Oh, also, Kelsey called about an hour ago. She wanted to see if we were up for Carnival tonight.
Oh.
I just went and told her that we'd talk about it when you woke up.
I think we should go.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think it'd be good for us to try to get back to normal, you know?
Okay. But you're buying me a corn dog.
Okay.
The bright lights of various carnival rides light up the night sky. The sound of people laughing and having fun fills the crisp night air.
Hey, Kelsey. You know, I'm glad we decided to come out tonight.
Yeah, we thought it'd be good to just get out.
Haley had been working on this for so long, it wouldn't have felt right to miss it, you know? How did you sleep? We slept like babies, honestly. Really needed it.
Connor nudges Julie and points to Officers Willing and Officer Jenkins, who are at one of the booths up ahead.
Yeah, it looks like we can't get away from these guys.
Jenkins is playing a target practice game with a BB gun. She misses the target completely.
Oh, shit.
Will you put that down? We're on duty.
Oh, I'm glad you kids made it. Y'all deserve to have a little fun.
Thank you.
Well, we're gonna get going.
Well, y'all stay out of trouble now.
Oh, come on. You still don't think they had something to do with all of these murders, do you? I mean, come on, Zwilling. Those kids have lost a lot of friends.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mr. Tahoma joyfully walks through his kitchen, singing to himself.
Beer, beer, beer. I love beer.
He opens the fridge and rifles through a few items. There's not a beer in sight.
Ah, you gotta be kidding me.
He grabs his keys from the counter and pats Ozzy on the head.
All right, Ozzy, old boy. Beer run. You're in charge while I'm gone.
In Ozzy pants, he waits for his owner to leave before walking over to the basement door. The door is cracked open just enough for Ozzy to open it with his paw. He scurries down into the basement. Ozzy races down the stairs and stops at the edge of the work table, where he looks up at the box of treats and he begins to whine. Ozzy hops up on two legs and knocks the box of treats over. A few treats spill onto the floor and Ozzy quickly gobbles them up. The box falling over also hits the bowling pin, causing it to wobble for a moment. Hits the bowling ball, sending it rolling off the edge of the table, and bam! The ball hits the top of the calcite safe that's on the floor. The impact of this causes the safe door to open, revealing the dream catcher inside. Connor tosses a softball, knocking over one milk bottle at a carnival game. Julie tosses her softball and knocks them all over. She wins a tiny stuffed bear and hands it to Connor.
Can we pretend that I won this for you?
Sure.
They approach the dunk tank that's being run by Haley's sorority. A man puts some cash into a big jar that's overflowing with money.
It looks like they're raising a lot of money.
Haley would be so proud.
Yeah, she really would.
Kelsey's attention shifts to a figure in a crowd of people walking near the clown funhouse. The figure resembles James, but disappears before Kelsey can get a really good look.
Kelsey, you good? Do you want to hang out with us tonight?
Babe, listen. Can we go ride the Ferris wheel?
Yeah, we're gonna go, but meet us by the funnel cake stand in half an hour, okay?
Kelsey turns to the dunk tank as Julie and Connor head over to the Ferris wheel. Before she has a chance to approach the sorority girls, she notices James standing by the funhouse.
James?
James then enters the funhouse. Kelsey runs over to the attraction but stops at the entrance. She looks up at the clown on the side of the building. Officer Zwilling is watching Kelsey from a nearby booth. She sees her take a deep breath and then enter the funhouse. Zwilling turns to Officer Jenkins.
You keep an eye on things. I'll be right back.
Where are you going?
I just want to check on something.
All right.
Officer Zwilling slowly walks through it. She glances at the disconcerting contents of the room as she walks. Zwilling reaches the end of the room. She pushes hanging strands of bead curtains off to the side and enters the mannequin room. The room is dimly lit and filled with tattered mannequins. A single mannequin at the end of the line is wearing a gray hoodie and some blue jeans. She approaches it, looking it up and down.
What the hell?
Zwilling turns her head as the lights begin to flicker. When she turns back to the mannequin, it has transitioned into human form. Terrence, a 17-year-old African-American male wearing a gray hoodie and the blue jeans, throws Zwilling to the floor.
No.
Zwilling trembles as Terrence stands over her. Terrence remains calm and collected while blood slowly starts to appear from a bullet wound in his chest. More blood begins to pour from the wound, saturating the hoodie. Zwilling pulls her gun and she fires twice. The bullets turn into tiny yellow pellets that bounce off Terrence and hit the floor.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
The expression on Terrence's face remains cold and blank. He slowly pulls out a BB gun with an orange plastic tip that was tucked into his pants. He points it at Zwilling and he fires 2 shots. Real bullets fly from the gun as the first shot strikes Zwilling in the center of her bulletproof vest. The second, however, goes through her neck. Zwilling is sprawled out on the floor, choking on her own blood. She struggles as she reaches down to her leg and grabs the pistol that she keeps holstered on her ankle. Terrence creeps closer and closer as Zwilling raises the pistol and she pulls the trigger. A tiny white flag pops out of the barrel with the word "bang" written on it. Zwilling looks defeated as she drops the gun. She is struggling to talk as she continues to choke on her own blood.
Please.
Terrence gets down on the floor with her. She stops just inches from Zwilling's face. He smiles, revealing a jagged set of razor-sharp teeth. Zwilling squeals in pain as Terrence bites into her neck. Kelsey is surrounded by dozens of trick mirrors. She reacts to the faint sound of Officer Zwilling's painful cries off in the distance. She continues to wander around the maze of mirrors. When she turns the corner, she sees James at the other end of the room.
James!
He reveals a mischievous smile as he turns the corner. Kelsey picks up her pace to catch up with him. She turns yet another corner in the seemingly endless puzzle of a room.
James! James, wait!
James waits for her. His face is blank and it's emotionless. Kelsey gasps and stumbles a few steps back as a black widow crawls out of his nose and enters the back through his ear. She turns and notices the reflection in the mirror next to him is that of an evil-looking clown. Kelsey turns her head back to see that James is now gone. In his place is the unsettling clown with bright red shoes, green overalls, and the orange hair. His white makeup is a bit smudged, and he is also sporting white gloves and now a bow tie. The clown pulls a black balloon from his pocket and blows it up. He grins as he makes the balloon into a rose. Kelsey stands frozen in fear as the clown takes a needle from his pocket. He pricks the balloon, popping it, revealing a real black rose. Kelsey stumbles backwards in terror as the clown extends his arm and offers her the beautiful flower. The flower begins to wilt and then turns into ash as the clown smiles, revealing razor-sharp teeth with blood dripping from each of them. The clown turns and smashes his head into one of the mirrors. Shards and shards of shattered glass stick out from the chunks of bloody flesh now on his face. Kelsey turns and she runs as the clown bends down to pick up a large piece of broken glass. She zigs and she zags her way through the various rows of mirrors. She stops running and she looks around. The ominous sound of his laughter fills the room, but he is nowhere to be seen. Kelsey is breathing heavily as tears begin to flow down her face. She whips her head around as the dark figure darts across the room. She struggles, able to whimper out only a few words.
Please, please, leave me alone.
She backs up against a curtain that leads to another room. A white gloved hand slowly emerges from underneath one of the mirrors and slits her Achilles tendon with a large piece of glass. Kelsey cries out in pain as she falls backwards right into the mannequin room. She lands in a pool of blood next to Officer Zwilling's lifeless body. She panics at the sight of her mangled corpse. She takes a deep breath and she collects herself. Kelsey winches as the flips on her stomach. She starts to slowly crawl across the room. The unnerving sound of laughter once again fills the air. She leaves a trail of blood from her heel as she crawls into the doll room. She cries out in pain as she uses her arms to drag her body towards the funhouse entrance. A row of unsettling ventriloquist dummies follows her movements, but only with their eyes. She looks back and she sees the clown standing in the mannequin room. She groans and starts crawling faster as she hears the sound of squeaky footsteps directly behind her. The footsteps become more rapid as she uses all of her strength to pull herself up and into the entrance. Just as Kelsey reaches for the door handle, the white hand of the clown grabs her shoulder and he flips her over. She screams out in terror as the clown reveals his jagged teeth. He grabs the bloody shard of glass and places it directly to her throat. Blood sprays all over a porcelain clown doll holding the dream catcher in the corner of the room. Julie and Connor step out of the Ferris wheel capsule and they walk away from the ride.
We have a few more minutes before we have to move back with Kelsey. You want to go get that corn dog you owe me?
Sure, babe.
Awesome. All right. I just got to run to the bathroom real quick, and then don't go anywhere.
Julie.
All right.
Julie.
Hello?
Julie. Come save me.
Julie turns and sees her parents' house off in the distance. She is in a trance as her eyes lock with her former home. She sees Jamie standing at the front door, motioning her to come inside. The stuffed bear falls to the ground as Julie stands and walks over to the house. Connor walks out of the bathroom and looks at the empty bench where Julie was once sitting.
Julie? Julie!
Connor looks past a crowd of people and sees Julie walking up to her front door. He screams for her, but she doesn't hear.
Julie, wait!
Julie opens the door and she steps inside. The house disappears, revealing only a vacant lot on the edge of the fairgrounds.
Jamie?
You found me.
Of course, sweetie. I'll always find you.
Will you stay and play with me? Will you stay with me forever?
I'll always be with you. But I can't stay here.
Why not?
Because this isn't real.
Then you'll burn.
And the house goes up in flames. Julie watches in terror as the room is set ablaze. Burn marks begin to form on Jamie.
You'll burn like I did because you weren't there to protect me.
Julie stumbles backwards. Her sister backs her into a corner. Pictures begin to fall off the walls as Jamie's voice gets deeper and much more demonic. The fire continues to intensify as chunks of flesh begin to melt from Jamie's face.
I died because of you.
No! No, what happened was an accident.
Jamie glitches like a malfunctioning hologram as she takes one more step back.
It was out of my control. There was nothing I could have done to save you, Jamie.
Jamie's jet black eyes begin to twitch as she once again glitches. For one brief moment, Jamie transforms into the dark figure. The entity turns back into Jamie, and she snarls at her big sister.
I love you with all of my heart, and I always will. But what happened to you wasn't my fault.
Jamie then transforms back into the dark figure. Glowing red eyes appear under the creature's black hood, and a grotesque face is now revealed, sporting decaying flesh and multiple rows of razor-sharp teeth. The creature snarls in Julie's face and then disappears into thin air. A burning wooden beam falls from the ceiling as the room continues to deteriorate quickly from the flames. A family portrait hanging on the wall above the fireplace begins to melt from the heat. The melted portrait falls to the floor, revealing the dream catcher hanging on the wall where it once was. Julie walks over to the dream catcher, but another beam falls from the ceiling, pinning her to the floor. She struggles to break free, but her legs are now trapped. She looks around the room and notices small amounts of ash coming off the burden woody beam. Her eyes light up.
The ash. Wood ash is made up of calcium carbonate.
Julie grabs a fire poker and uses it to try to knock the dream catcher off the wall, but she can't quite reach.
Come on!
Lighting fixtures begin to fall from the ceiling. The fire continues to rage through the house and now has almost fully engulfed the room. She tries again, extending her arm as far as she can. She's still coming up short. She thinks for a moment as the room continues to burn all around her. Julie takes the fire poker and throws it in like a spear, knocking the dream catcher off the wall, and it lands right next to her.
Yes.
She grabs it and she sets it in front of the fireplace. She scoops up multiple handfuls of wood ash from the ash pit and begins covering up the dream catcher. It is almost completely covered when Julie is distracted by a cackling sound coming from directly above her. She looks up to see a burning wooden beam getting ready to collapse from the ceiling directly onto her. Just as the beam begins to fall, Julie grabs one more handful of ash and finishes covering the dream catcher. Julie sits alone in the vacant lot next to the pile of ash, covering the dream catcher. She is covered in soot and is sporting a few cuts and a few bruises. Connor spots Julie and he rushes to her side. Connor sits down and holds her in his arms.
Thank God. Is it over?
I think so.
I thought I lost you.
Not a chance.
Hey, babe.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think maybe like we should have skipped the carnival.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think you're right.
An ambulance and multiple police cars fill the fairgrounds. The funhouse is taped off as a handful of officers are redirecting civilians away from the crime scene. Julie and Connor have somber expressions on their faces as they watch a paramedic zip up Kelsey's body. Julie sheds a tear as the paramedic loads her friend's body into the ambulance.
Okay, I just got off the phone with Mr. Tahoma, and he's on his way. He's going to try and bring that safe thingy that you guys told me about. And I've taped off the area where you said the dream catcher was.
So, now do you believe us?
Listen, I really don't know what to believe, but I've seen enough movies to know that, well, sometimes it's the college kids getting killed who know more than the local police.
Captain Malone now stands a few feet away. He winces as he takes a peek as Willing's body sprawled out on a stretcher. He shakes his head and he recovers her body.
Jenkins, get over here.
I'm coming, sir. Coming. You two. If you tell anybody that I said what I said, I'm going to deny it.
What should we do now?
Let's go get that corn dog I owe you.
I love you.
I know.
By the way, don't go too far because I may have some more questions for you.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Okay.
You know, I was thinking, now that you've overcome your fear of water and I've overcome my fear of fire, our list of vacations has gotten significantly longer.
I haven't really thought about that. No. Since this has all started, I've realized that water really wasn't what I'm most afraid of.
The vacant lot is surrounded by crime scene tape. The gust of wind picks up, blowing some of the ash off the dream catcher. A few of the bones and feathers are now completely visible.
What do you mean? What are you most afraid of?
Losing you.
And with that, an invisible force snatches Julie and pulls her up into the night sky as she screams.
Connor! The end. Everyone want to come back up? Can you Scott Guppy still on here? Hey Shelby, we're ready for that video again if you want to play it. Okay. That's okay. Holy tech issues tonight.
I believe.
Anybody got a song and dance they want to, just kill the time with here?
All right. Well, we are still recording. So thank you guys for watching tonight. We all really appreciate it. And we hope that you guys enjoyed Fear Catcher just as much as we did.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, I think we are done, Shelby.